Hi, welcome back to the channel. I've got a problem with my Himalayan today. It's something that's been bugging me a little bit for the last couple of weeks. As you all know, I live in Bulgaria and the weather this year during the summer has been horrendous. We've had 13 straight weeks now of temperatures of 40 to 47 degrees. If the bike's in the workshop and put the key in, it'll start, first press of the button, like it always does. But if I've been busy in here working on something else and I've had to push it outside, it's been stood outside, and I always cover, if I have to put any of the bikes out, I cover them with a blanket, like to keep the sun off everything. But even with the blanket on, at 40 odd degrees centigrade, everything gets so hot you can't touch the bike, you can't touch anything metal, it's just absolutely roasting. And what I found was, first time I put the key in to start it, I was going to just nip down the village and I thought I could just nip on this. Nothing, it was dead. It'd spin over, but it wouldn't start. Now the pump wasn't priming. I thought this was sort of late on in the afternoon. So what I did, I thought I'll have a look at this tomorrow morning. So I brought it back in here. Come in here in the morning, thought I'd just try it, boom, straight away. And it didn't matter how many times I tried it, it started. Pushed it back outside and I went out after an hour and it started. But then the temperatures got hot again. I think it was after lunchtime I went out, nothing, it just turned over. I could hear the fuel pump wasn't working. So I brought it in, stripped it all down, I checked the relays, I swapped the relays, I checked all the wiring loom. A few of you know that, well, a lot of you know, that there was a problem with where the relays fit in. It was packed with white grease. Well, it's not the only place that's packed with white grease. If you undo the connectors from the ignition and places like that, undo them, look inside, they're packed with white grease. But I'd already been through all these and cleaned them all, so I checked all the connectors. Checking the feed to the fuel pump. It's the second terminal in off the fuel pump connector. You get a split second when you press the starter, you'll get 12 volts. I got feed. So that's sort of pointing to the pump. Now, what I've got a spare pump. Yeah, I always carry a spare pump. But what I did, I'd had the tank off my Bullet 500. And when I put the tank back on, the fuel pump on the Bullet is on the left-hand side of the tank at the back, right next to the battery case. And as I lowered the tank down, I caught the fitting, the pipe it goes in, on the battery case, and it snapped that off the pump. So I had to fit my spare pump. Now the only thing wrong with the pump I took off was it's got no fitting now to plug anything into. But what I did, I got that pump and plugged it into the wiring loom on this when this wouldn't go. Bzzz, straight away the pump fires up. No problem at all. So it looks to me like it's the fuel pump. I can't quite get my head round it. The only thing I can think of is that the fuel tank, it gets that hot. I mean, it gets that hot you can't put your hand on this, even though it's been covered up with a blanket. You can't touch the bars, you can't touch anything at 40 odd degrees. It's unbelievable. Till you actually see yourself, you won't believe how hot everything is. It's terrible. I think it's at 40 odd degrees, the fuel must get that hot in it. I don't know whether it's swelling the pump up or something, but it's like partially seizing the pump. That's all I can think of with expansion. Because if I leave it, bring it back in here, leave it to 2 or 3 hours so it's cooled down, it'll fire up straight away. Now you should say, well, don't leave it stood in the bright sunlight then. That's okay, I could stand this under a tree outside somewhere and I wouldn't have a problem. If I was to go in a ride somewhere and I go into town, say do a bit of shopping, as long as I could find a bit of shade, I could put it under there, it wouldn't be a problem. But it's not always the case that you've got shade. So that would mean if I left it stood in the sunlight, it ain't going to start again till it cools down. So what I'm going to do today, we're going to strip it down, get the seats off, take the tank off. I've just drained as much fuel out of the tank as I can. It's always typical, isn't it? The thing was full. We'll get a tank off, get a tank on the bench, take the pump out, Now I've got, this is the box with the spare pump in. Now this is the pump I took out of the Bullet. Same pump as the Himalayan, they're common on all of them. Now what I did was snap this piece off, look. This. It fits on here. Now you can get the pumps to pieces, so I'm going to get my pump out, put it on here, take this pump to pieces. I don't know if you can see it there where the wires go in. The actual pump's inside the plastic. I'm going to take the motor out of this one and fit it to mine and then replace it. Now the Bullet stands outside as well, same, covered up with a blanket. I've never had no trouble with this at all, so hopefully we're going to be okay. Yeah, as you can see, this is the Bullet one because there's no float on it. Never mind. Might be a bit of an interesting thing here because you'll see how to take a pump to pieces, as long as I can get it to pieces. It does come to pieces, I know it does, but we'll see what we're going to do. Right, let's have a look around here. Well, first off, I've undone the lock on the seat, so we need to take the seat off. Seat over there, pull this seat off. Now there's two 10mm bolts on the back of the fuel tank. Right, I'm going to take these two bolts out. Underneath here there should be two washers. Yep. Put them up there so we don't lose them. Let's ease the tank back a bit. Right. Stand it on a piece of wood. Right, underneath this side of the tank there's a blue connector under here. Right, that's a fuel tank sender unit, you know, for your fuel gauge. So we've got to take that out. I'll get it off because you can't really see what I'm doing under here. There's that. There's two rubber pipes on the left hand side. One's a breather, one's an overflow. Pull those off. We need to undo this pipe here, and then this here is your electrical connector. That just comes off easy. When you're testing, this one's actually got a mark on the plug. You can see it in blue. That is your 12-volt feed in, but it's not a constant 12 volt. It's only when you press the starter. It energizes the fuel pump. Right, we've got to get this off as well. You push that forward. That should, let me stand this on the floor. I want to break this one as well. Right. I don't know if you can see that. Just here. There's two bits on the side. You press them in, push it forward, pull it back. I just put a bit of cloth here, look, because when you do, there's obviously fuel in the pipe. Just so it's making a mess. You pull the fuel pump pipe out of the clip under there, you'll find you should be able to just slip that underneath the cylinder head. It just keeps it out of the way. So we're off here, that's off. We've got two rubber pipes to the side and that blue connector to take out. Right, I'll do those because you can't see under there. So, okay, I've got the connector off underneath. I pulled the two rubber pipes off. That should lift off now. There we go. It's on the bench. Okay, that's your fuel tank sender unit connector. That's one of the rubber pipes. That's the other one. You can't get them wrong when you put them back on, because if you look at one, it's swelled because the fitting on the tank is a bit bigger than what the other one is. But they must both go back on. Right, let's have a look. There we go. We've got the tank on the bench, stand it that way up. I've got mine leant against the wall. I've drained as much as I can out of it. As you can see there, that's your fuel tank sender unit. That's for working your fuel gauge. This is your fuel pump. Yeah, that bit there is what I broke off this pump. There, look. But the pumps are the same. Right, put it that way. There, see that bit's missing, that bit's on. A disaster that was. Right, let's see if I can put this camera where you can see what I'm doing. Right, I'm going to do these 4 10mm bolts. Take these 4 bolts out then. There we go. Whew. Right, here's my 2 pumps. Now, red to the right, black to the left. Red to the right, black to the left. Try and remember that. Right, I need to part this. So, I don't know whether you can see, there's some clips under here. Not quite so straightforward, is it? I've got the clips undone. You better pull that piece off. Like so. Right, it's a good time to clean the filter off as well while we're doing it. Slide that together like that. I need to get this one to pieces. Same procedure. I'll do is stick a small screwdriver in there while you get the second part of the clip off. Right, got my 2 pumps. I've got the casing slacked off. This is my Himalayan pump that's giving me the problems. So we can pull that piece off, like so. Make sure the O-ring's still good. I'm just going to give that a clean out with some cleaner, because some bits of crap in there, look. It's like insects. Right, we've separated this. This is my Himalayan pump. Now the problem seems to be with the motor. I don't really know what's wrong. All I can think of is it's due to the heat. So we pulled that one off. I know this is my Bullet 500 pump, and the only thing wrong with this is I snapped the end off. So if we slide that top piece off, yeah, filter looks good and clean. O-ring looks good. In actual fact, this looks a bit better condition inside than what the Himalayan one did. This is the top of the Himalayan pump. Now that should slide in there. The O-ring inside's okay. That should, in theory, all clip together like that. Let's snap back together. Just to be honest, looking at the Royal Enfield pump, I don't think this Royal Enfield, their Bullet pump, is that old, because the O-ring isn't even very good in the Himalayan, and the Himalayan's a lot newer. Just get that to clean out, so make sure we've got a good seal. Right, O-ring. Yep. All sits together nicely, as you can see. And you can see that. This was right in here. Yep, black one on this side. Make sure they're fully home. Yep. That's it. What are you doing? That's got to sit in there. There's a little peg in the top of here. That sits like that. Make sure your O-ring's flat. Right. Let's put that back up here. So I'll take that off. Okay. We can actually test this pump. See there, the plug into the fuel pump. Okay. Turn on the ignition. Yep. Lovely. It's making a bit of noise because the pumps are... Some of you could see that. Let me do it again. So I ain't got Sue filming for me today. I'm trying to do it all. I'll just hang that bar there. I've turned the ignition on. There you go. You can hear the pump priming up. It's making a strange noise because there's obviously no fuel in it. It's the fuel that lubricates the pump. Right, I'll take that out and we'll put that back in the tank then. Right. Got to slide this over the pump. Get it in the right position. There's a little peg just there, look. That thing sits in, so you can't get that wrong. Let's have a look. So I'll just give that tank a bit of a wipe off as well. I'm not putting no grease or nothing on this because it's petrol. The O-ring wants putting on sealing dry. I think, yeah, that's right, isn't it? Yeah, it's going to be going backwards. Four bolts in. Let's just double check the O-ring hasn't kinked and come out at all. No, I'm 100% sure it's flat. Crisscross pattern. Don't have to go mad on them. There we go. Now there is a bit of fuel still left in the tank. I'll stand that on there. Right. There is some fuel left in the tank, but now's a chance to put it in that corner. No, because if you've got a petrol leak, it'll come out straight away. Petrol's very searching. No, bone dry. Right, we'll reverse what we did. So I'm going to stick the tank on now, connect it all up again. And we can fire up and see how she goes. Right. To put them rubber pipes back on, that's what I do. I put a piece of wood under the back of the tank, then I can get my hands under here. They're that far in, I don't think you can hardly ever even see them with the camera. So I'll get the pipes on and we'll see where we go from there. Right, that's on. This is your quick release connector. If you push that on, you should hear it click, and pull it back. This is the plug for our sender unit. Push that on, hear that click, make sure the rubber boot's back on at the back. And it's a bit difficult to see all this with the camera, everything's sort of hidden, isn't it? So we know that's okay. When you turn the ignition first on, that's the first thing you want to check. If that's not on correct, there'll be petrol pouring out everywhere. Right. I put the two rubber pipes on. I put the fuel tank sender blue connectors connected back up. So, if we turn that on, ignition. There we go. You heard it pressure up. I'll just flick the starter. Yeah, it's only got an absolute drop of petrol left in it. So I drained it out. So, put the two bolts back in here. Set this up. Okay, I've got some cutting on this to get it right. Sue will be happy. The two washers, sit them under the rubber grommets, one this side. Like so. Get them lined up. Bolts. Tighten this up. There we go. Right, put some petrol in it. That'll do us. Right, she should fire up okay now. Just check round here. No leaks. No leaks out the tank. Connector's fully in. Yeah. Push that back in that clip. There we go. Let's try. Yeah, sounding good. Ticking over good. Yeah, double check, no leaks. So that was quite a quick and easy job really. I've been filming 7 minutes, so it's not a bad job, is it? And we re-salvaged or reused a broken pump, haven't we? It looks like the pump out the bullet must have been a fairly new one, because it's in a lot better condition than what the Himalayan pump was, which was good for me really. And the bullet's got a brand new pump in it now. So I've used the pump out of which was broke off the 500 bullet to fit the Himalayan. I just had to change the top casing, which was an easy job really. The filter was nice and clean in the bullet one, where it was a bit crappy in the Himalayan, but that wasn't a problem. So all I can do now really is, today is quite a cool day for a change. Just wait till it gets really, really hot again. See if it cures it, but I'm sure it had done, because when I plugged the Bullet 500 pump into the Himalayan, when the Himalayan pump wasn't doing anything, it worked. so it just points towards the pump. There's no heat sensor or nothing in the pump, it's just a very, very basic pump. Nothing special at all, it's just basically a motor. Yeah. So hopefully I've cured it. So something a bit interesting for you Himalayan guys, that was. It is worthwhile. I know I've got 3 Royal Enfields, and I kept a pump in. I got my pump from India because a fraction of the cost of getting them from Royal Enfield. It's a genuine Royal Enfield pump, but to have one in stock, it's like a slight accident I did with my 500 bullet. I'll show you what I did. Fuel pump's here on the bullet. It's just there, and when I was putting this on, this piece of plastic, I was moving the tank about and I dropped the tank down, it hit the end of the battery box just here and it snapped that off. Ever so brittle, they won't bend at all, so you've got to be very careful. So I put a new pump in this one, and what we've basically done is put the Himalayan plastic part of this pump on the old 500 bullet pump, which was new I think anyway, looking at that. So I should be good to go. So I hope you liked it. Sue's got a bit of cutting to do on this, because usually I get Sue to work the camera, then she can be, camera's pointing in the right direction all the time. When you're trying to do it yourself, it's a bit awkward. Anyway, I hope you liked it. So big thumbs up. Please subscribe to the channel. Doesn't cost you anything. It just helps me to keep the channel going, because as I keep saying, it comes expensive running a YouTube channel for nothing. Yeah. But it didn't cost you nothing, but please subscribe. And so I hope you like the video anyway. Any comments, leave them down below. I always answer the questions, or anybody stuck on anything, I usually can help you out. And I'll see you again in the next video again then. Cheers.